Hello friends, I'm George, the nice smelling gentleman. Welcome back to the channel guys, I hope that all of you are doing well. It's time for your daily dose of some fragrance content, and it's also time for another episode of a mega fragrance battle. Today I'm going to compare a total of 7 clones of Parfum de Marlis Layton. I'm going to tell you which is the best budget offering and which is my most favorite clone of Layton currently. Now, I did a similar video about 6 months ago, but since that time I've acquired a few more good Layton clones, and I just wanted to update my fragrance battle video, including those two, to be more precise, new clones of Layton, because I think they deserve a spot on this video. Now, I'm going to go over my Layton clones in the order of how much I've actually paid for them. Keep in mind that these are the prices around here. Your prices around the world may vary a little bit, but I'm going to start with the cheapest clone of Layton that I currently have, and I'm going to work my way up through the pricing ladder. And so let's start with the cheapest one, and that one comes from the brand of Zimaya, which is a sub-brand of Afnan, and the fragrance itself is called Royal Paragon. It's an interesting fragrance, comes interestingly packaged quite nicely, and price-wise this is the cheapest clone of Layton that I currently have. I paid around about 14 or 15 euros to get it, which makes it crazy inexpensive in my opinion. And it's actually done pretty nicely considering how cheap of a fragrance it is. It comes in a similar colored bottle as Layton itself. It has metallic cap. All around the quality is actually quite decent. And the scent itself is also very nice. Now, to my nose, this feels like just a slight twist, like actually all of them feel. Keep in mind that all 7 fragrances, in fact, apart from one, so 6 out of the 7 are very similar to Layton, especially when you smell them in the air. And the only differences between Layton itself and all the clones that I find will be up close. Apart from the quality, of course, Layton has the best quality out of everything else that I'm going to talk about in today's video. But back on Royal Paragon from Zimaya, it's an interesting take on Layton that feels slightly less green, slightly less spicy, feels just having a little bit of stronger sweetness compared to Layton itself, like a slightly sweeter take on Layton. But the quality is actually very decent, and I've been quite impressed with Royal Paragon. It's a fragrance that I had to chase for a long time before I was finally able to get a bottle of it, and I'm really feeling satisfied with what I got in return. I've had this for a few months now, and especially after sitting for a few months, Royal Paragon has turned into a surprisingly good clone of Layton, again, especially considering how cheap of a fragrance it is. Now, the next one, price-wise, will be none other than the famous Detour Noir that comes from the brand of Haramain. Now, this is a very interesting scent. To be honest, I'm not a huge fan of the bottle design. I'm not a huge fan of the whole quality. It's a fragrance that's notorious for having bad bottle design and bad quality. You know, the lettering has peeled off on my bottle like basically a week after I got it, and a lot of other people are reporting the same thing. But again, it's not the most important thing in the world, because what is more important is the actual scent of Detour Noir. And this is another very nicely done clone of Layton. Now, again, feels like a slight twist. This feels a little bit rougher around the edges compared to Layton, which is to be expected. Also, this feels slightly more green, like having a slightly more stronger menthol note compared to the original fragrance, and lacks a little bit of the sweetness of Layton itself. But again, I'm talking about very small differences, and those differences are noticeable only up close. In the air, this actually smells, again, very similar to Layton itself. Now, I forgot to talk about the performance of Royal Paragon, but Royal Paragon gives me about 7 to 7.5 hours of performance with moderate projection in the first about hour and a half. Detour Noir is slightly stronger, especially after some maceration. I get about 8 hours, maybe slightly over 8 hours, with a little bit stronger projection compared to Royal Paragon. So Detour Noir is a little bit more expensive, but at the same time offers a little bit better performance. Price wise, in Europe at least, this tends to cost somewhere between 20 to 30 euros, making it a little bit more expensive compared to Royal Paragon. Now the next clone that I'm going to include in this video is an interesting one. It comes from a brand called Zoha Aroma. These are guys that I think are based in Canada, and they have some original creations, but also they have some inspirations, and they have an inspiration of Layton, which is called Encrypt. Now I have this tiny 15 milliliter bottle in here that I got for testing. In fact, it was sent to me for free about an year ago, but again, as usual, despite the fact that I've gotten this for free, won't change my opinion on it, and I'm going to give you my honest opinion. And my honest opinion is that this is not really a good clone of Layton, unfortunately. I've had this for a while, and this feels like more like an inspiration rather than a straight up clone, like a distant inspiration. Definitely carries some of the Layton DNA, but this feels quite a bit different. It lacks the spiciness of Layton, it lacks the greenness of Layton, it lacks the woodiness of Layton, all around again just like a distant inspiration rather than something that can serve as a good replacement for Layton itself. This feels more airy, this feels lighter, slightly fresher, and also feels kind of soapy. It's like a soapy take on the Layton DNA. Quality in its own, it's not bad. Performance is also quite good, pretty much on par from what I get out of Detour Noir. But again, scent wise, this is the furthest away from Layton itself, from everything else that I'm going to show you today. And now let's do a little bit of a price jump, because the next 4 fragrances that I'm going to show you are quite more expensive compared to the first 3 that I already talked about. The next one comes from the brand of Paris Corner and their North Star line of fragrances, and it's called Bleu. And this is a very underrated clone of Layton in my opinion. Again, feels like a slight twist compared to the original fragrance. This is a little bit different in the fact that this feels greener, it has a stronger geranium note, and feels a little bit more spicy compared to Layton itself. Lacks a bit of the sweetness of Layton, but in the air actually smells very, very similar to Layton. And again, those differences are only when you smell the scent up close. But other than that, this actually has a very, very good quality. Initially, when I first tried this one, when I first got it over 6 months ago, it felt a little bit too green and too spicy, too sharp. But with a bit of maceration, the scent itself has settled really, really nicely. And nowadays, this has top-notch quality. Again, feeling a little bit different. Performance is great, over 8 hours of performance. Also tends to be one of the better projecting fragrances featured today. Because of the slight sharpness and the slight greenness that it has, it projects better than pretty much everything else that I've shown up so far. Comes really luxuriously packaged and all around offers very, very good quality, and it's quite an impressive scent, and again, probably the most underrated clone of Layton currently. Price wise, this when it was first launched, it was priced at about 45 euros, making it a little bit more expensive than your usual clone fragrances. But nowadays I've noticed that the prices have dropped a little bit, and now this costs around about the 40 euro mark, maybe even slightly less than 40 euros. So the next Layton clone featured in today's video, North Star Bleu from Paris Corner. Continuing with the price increase, the next one that I'm going to show you is called Royal Blue, and it comes from the brand of Orientica, and this is my latest Layton clone purchase that I've done, and I just did a review of this fragrance last week, and this is a very, very impressive scent. It has quite a unique looking bottle. The bottle size here is 80 milliliters. It's a little bit more expensive. I paid around about 60 euros for this one, making it quite a bit more expensive compared to North Star Bleu, but the quality here again is absolutely superb. Again, this feels like a slight twist compared to Layton itself. Feels like having a little bit more ambery sweetness on the dry down, lacking a little bit of the spiciness of Layton up top, and also feeling like it has a few citrusy notes in here that are a little bit different compared to Layton itself. But other than that, again, the quality is absolutely superb, and on the dry down, this makes it a little bit sweeter than Layton itself, and it's a really, really nice fragrance, quite an impressive scent, and a great find for me. Performance is pretty much on par with Layton. We're talking about over 8 hours of performance. Projection wise, again, on par with Layton. All around, and the quality itself just feels like designer quality level at this point. really top-notch stuff from Orientica, and I've been really impressed by Royal Blue. So Royal Blue is the next Layton clone featured today. Continuing with the price increase, the next one comes again from the brand of Orientica, and it's called the Xclusif Oud Blue. Now this is a little bit more expensive than Royal Blue itself. I paid about 65 euros for that one, but also keep in mind that the Xclusif Oud Blue comes in a 60 milliliter bottle size. You're getting 20 milliliters less juice compared to Royal Blue itself. But this again offers an absolutely fantastic quality. Maybe again feeling just a hint more spicy compared to Layton. But other than that, super close, and again we're talking about absolutely fantastic quality with the Xclusif Oud Blue. And the best thing out of all is that this is the best performing fragrance featured today. This is a beastly performer that outlasts Layton, both when it comes to longevity and both when it comes to the projection as well. It's an absolute beast, and again super impressive scent from Orientica. So the next one featured in today's video is called Xclusif Oud Blue from Orientica. And the last Layton clone that I'm going to include in today's video is called Dusk, and it comes from the Oud's collection, from the brand of Oud's collection. Now, at least in my case, this is the most expensive Layton clone that I have. I paid about 75 euros to get it. Slightly less than 75 euros, but this makes it the most expensive clone that I have. Again, we're talking about superb quality in here. You get magnetic cap, really nice presentation. In fact, all four of the more expensive clones come really luxuriously packaged, and the packaging and the bottle design and the whole quality, you know, the hardware quality of all four of them is absolutely fantastic, on par with Layton itself. And this is like a slightly fruitier take on Layton itself, and also feels a little bit powdery compared to Layton. But again, scent-wise, the quality is top-notch here. Performance-wise, with Dusk, again, you're looking pretty much at the same performance like you'll get with Layton itself. Looking at about 89 hours of longevity, maybe slightly less projecting than Layton itself, but again, super nice quality, and all around a very impressive fragrance from the brand of the Oud's collection. So the last clone featured in today's fragrance battle is Dusk. And now, after I've gone through all 7 Layton clones featured today, let's talk about the rankings a little bit. First of all, let's talk about the cheapest offerings here, which are Royal Paragon and Detour Noir. Now, if you simply want to try the Layton DNA and you want to get something that's cheap but will get you close scent-wise, that has slightly less performance compared to the original fragrance, it doesn't really matter which one you choose, whether you go with Royal Paragon or where you go with Detour Noir. Both of them will give you an idea how Layton actually smells, will get you close to Layton, and will get you smelling really nice, to be honest. Now, if I have to choose one out of the two for the best, cheapest option of Layton clone, I will go with the Royal Paragon, because I enjoy the scent a little bit more compared to Detour Noir. But at the same time, and it's also a little bit, cheaper compared to Detour Noir. But at the same time, Detour Noir is a little bit better performer. So again, if you're looking for the cheapest possible option to go with the Layton clone, go with Royal Paragon. But if you want something that is very inexpensive but is at the same time has a better performance, then you can go with Detour Noir. And now moving on to the best options here, the 4 expensive options here. I'll tell you which one is my current most favorite Layton clone, and that's is going to be Royal Blue from Orientica. Now, up until I got this fragrance, my most favorite clone was Dusk, but nowadays Royal Blue has taken that crown. Keep in mind though that the difference in here, how much I like them, is very small. But Royal Blue has impressed me with its quality, has impressed me with its performance. I really like the bottle design. All around, currently this is my most favorite clone. But the reality is that no matter with which one you will actually go out of the 4, whether it will be North Stack Dew, whether it will be Royal Blue, whether it will be Xclusif Oud Blue or the Dusk, you won't be disappointed, because all 4 offer absolutely fantastic quality. If you want the best performing Layton clone currently, then go with Xclusif Oud Blue. If you want something that's a little bit less spicy, slightly sweeter compared to Layton itself, you can go with the Dusk or the Royal Blue from Orientica. But again, North Dew is a very underrated clone of Layton, and if you don't mind a little bit more greenness, a little bit more spiciness, then you can safely go with the Dew as well, because this one again offers absolutely fantastic quality and performance. And so guys, this was all for today's mega episode of a fragrance battle, where I compared 7 clones of Parfum de Marly's Layton. I hope that you found this video interesting to watch, entertaining or useful. If you did, give it a like, and I also hope that you're going to join me tomorrow for your daily dose of some fragrance content. And until then, stay safe and bye bye.